Good morning, I'm Rose from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry, and we just tried to do one and it didn't work, so we had to stop the video and start over. So this morning I'm doing one of our favorite. It is boneless pork. It's a big pork loin, but I cut it in chops. And these are probably a ½ inch thick right here, and that's just really a good size for what I'm going to use them for. I'm going to be cooking boneless pork chops wrapped in bacon. I'm going to be doing some what I call honey sweet potatoes. And I've got some broccoli and cauliflower over here that I'm going to steam in my little steamer after a while when this gets almost ready. So we're going to start with our pork chops. And on my pork chops, let me get my dish towel so I can wash my hands. There's bleach water in my sink now. So the way I do this is a seasoning called, we named it Balance. It is one, we used to own a restaurant. And this is a seasoning that we came up with when we had the restaurant. And on a later video, I'll show you how to make it, what goes in it. But we love it. We use it on all kinds of meat. My whole family loves it. People in the restaurant loved it. So that's what it's got. Your salt, pepper, garlic, whatever you would put on your pork chops, it's already in here, plus other ingredients. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of this on my pork chop, like so. Honey, I'm going to turn this light on so it'll, okay. All right. I'll do one side, I'll turn it over, and then we'll do the other side. And it doesn't take a lot of this, but you do want to get enough that you can taste it. So, okay, that's probably enough. Now, the way I do this, I take my bacon, and I take my pork loin, and I will wrap the bacon around this pork loin. Now you have to kind of stretch your bacon, especially when you have long ones like this, so it will go all the way around. And I'm putting it on this tray right here, this pan, because the grease out of the bacon, now there's not much fat on the pork loin, because I've already cut some of it off. I left it on some because Roy likes it that way. But if you lay them down in the pan, the bacon fat will cook out and they'll be laying in the fat. So I put them on a little rack. This doesn't go with this, but I made it fit, so to serve my purpose this morning. So you just take your bacon and you wrap it. You try to get it around there as best you can, and you lay it on your little rack, and you try to spread your bacon out. And if it takes more than one piece of bacon, that's fine. But usually this is all that one piece is all that we'll want on ours. So, but some people like a lot of bacon, and that's fine. And this bacon will keep this meat really moist, and it'll make it a really juicy piece of meat. Pork loin has a tendency to be a little dry sometimes, but this bacon will, it'll keep it from being dry. Okay, I gotta get another piece of bacon. And this is not expensive bacon, it's hickory smoked. Sometimes I try to use applewood because we like that, but this is just Walmart brand bacon. Okay, I'm going to slide them over because I don't want them touching each other. And I've got my oven preheated on 400, and I did that so the bacon would cook, and the meat doesn't have to, the pork loin doesn't have to be on that high, but your bacon does, because you want your bacon to be crisp. So I put it on 400, and I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe 20-25 minutes, we're going to see. So my oven's already preheated, and I'm going to put my pork loin in the, okay. Now I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, And used to, on pork, I looked it up this morning. I Googled it because I had a question about it. I always try to get mine at 165 degrees, but I read this morning when I Googled it that 145 degrees now is safe for pork, especially pork chops and your pork loin slice like that. Even your whole pork loin, they say make it 145 degrees and then let it rest for about 5 minutes before you cut into it, and it still continues to cook. I'm not sure I'm going to eat mine at 145. I may take it up to 150, 155. We'll see when I check it. But they do say 145 degrees is safe now. So we'll see how it looks when I take it out of the oven. And now these are just some sweet potatoes that I peeled this morning, and I cut in, they're wedges. They're not long wedges, but I call them wedges. And I tried to get them all about the same size. And I'm going to put, this is a cup of water. I'm going to put probably, that's half of it. That's a half a cup of water. I'm going to put a half a cup of water in these and just a little bit of salt, not much, just a little bit. And I'm going to turn them on medium high, and I'm going to let them come to like a boil. Well, they won't boil because they don't have enough water in them. But when they get really, really hot, I'm going to cut them down to like medium low, and I'm going to cook them until they get almost tender. Then, when they get almost tender, I'm going to take some of our honey. You've seen me use it before. Some of our honey from our bees, and I'm going to spread it over those potatoes, and that's the reason I call them honey potatoes. And then I'll take the lid off, and I will let that honey kind of caramelize those sweet potatoes, and they're very, very good. Now I'm going to come over here, and this is my little pork chops that I cut for myself. I'm going to do mine in the air fryer. Now, this is Cajun style pork rind crumbs. I love mine in the air fryer, done in these crumbs. So I'll just take, and it's gluten-free. So I will just take I better season them first. Let me get my seasoning. Okay. I'll put a little bit of, since these are Cajun style, I'm not going to put much seasoning at all on these because there's so much seasoning in the pork rinds themselves. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to press these crumbs. It's really called, one name brand is pork panko, but this is just put out by Pork King, so they call it pork rind crumbs. So I'm going to put those.
These aren't specifically small just because you're going to cook them in the fryer. They just happen to be small when you cut them all up.
I cut them small, so yeah.
You could be cooking just as big as you wanted in the air fryer.
Sure. And you do not, and when you do meat in the air fryer, a lot of times you have to put oil on it. You have to spray oil. With these pork panko crumbs, you do not. If you saw my video on chicken parmesan that I did in the air fryer, you will see that I did not put any oil on them and that they turned out really, really well. So I'm just going to continue to do this. And I'm going to get all this in. Try to get all of these crumbs. Okay, now 4 pieces fits real nicely in my air fryer. So I'm going to take all these crumbs and just put them on top here because I don't want to waste any of it. So now I'm going to put this on 400 for, these are really thin. So I'm going to start out with 3 minutes And then I'm going to turn them, and I'll do them 3 more minutes. So when these get ready to turn, I'll come back and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, I told you I'd come back in 3 minutes after these pork chops had cooked, so you can see what they look like after 3 minutes. So I'm going to turn them, and you see how much oil is on them? That is the reason you do not need to spray oil on these when you use these pork rind crumbs. Now the pork rind crumbs, you can get them in original, you can get them in like the Italian style I used with my chicken parmesan. This is Cajun, and I think there's one more. I'm not sure what it is, but these are the 3 that I use the most. So I'm going to turn this back on, put it back on 400, and I'm going to put it on 3 minutes. And I'm going to cook those 3 minutes. Now,
this is the way you do your gluten-free meat, right?
yeah, but now these are gluten-free too because they don't have any coating or anything on them. I just really like mine done with the crumbs on it. And my this cooked for 20 minutes, and they're not. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to check them and let you see after 20 minutes what they look like. Let me get my little checker here, baby. So I'm going to see if you don't wrap this bacon all the way around, it will, it'll kind of come loose. So this now is at 153 degrees, but the bacon is not quite ready. And this one's thicker. It's 145 degrees. So I'm going to put these back in there because I want my bacon to be browner. But 400 degrees is working really, really well. And I want mine, I've decided I want my pork at least 155 degrees and maybe 160. So I'm going to put this on 10 minutes. And I'm going to let it cook and see. And now I'm going to check my potatoes. As you can see, the water is beginning to cook out of the potato, and I'm just going to check it with my little tester, and they are just kind of fork tender. So now is when I'm going to put my butter and my honey on them. I wait till now to put the honey, to put my butter on them, and I don't know why I do that. I just do, but probably I'll use probably a half a stick because I want them real buttery. I should have measured that for y'all, but I didn't. And I'm going to go behind you and get a spoon.
It's more like a quarter of a stick. Looks like to me.
So,
but I'm not the expert.
No, it was, well, maybe between a half and a quarter. So I'm putting about 2 tablespoons, and they're good sized tablespoons of honey. I don't put any other sugar. Honey is the only thing that I put in the potatoes. So I'm just going to kind of stir these a little bit. You don't want to stir them much because you don't want to tear your potato up. But you can see that butter and that honey together in there. I'm going to let it cook with the lid off, and it's going to form like a caramelized, it's going to caramelize those potatoes on the bottom. That honey and that butter, and man, they are so, so good.
They are good.
They are delicious. And now, the pork chops are in the air fryer are ready, and I'm going to check the temperature on them. And I know because they're real thin. 161 degrees. So I'm fixing to take these out. I'm gonna put it right there. Let me get a little plate to put these on. And some tongs. I'll use these big ones. So I'll just take these out and put them on the plate. Now that's just how quickly you can have chicken, pork chops, whatever meat you want, that's how quickly you can have them. And if they were thicker, I would have probably done them 4 or 5 minutes on each side. But in 10 to 12 minutes, 6 minutes, you can have your meat done. And if you've already have your veggies, some veggies cooked. Now I'm cooking all these today. So, but if you already have them cooked, then you'll have lunch done in 15 to 20 minutes.
Especially if you use this steamer, microwave steamer that you're going to show them how to use in a minute.
Yes. So I'm going to continue to let, and as you can see, honey, get down in there and let them see how this honey and this butter is beginning to form a syrup. Uh-oh. There's one that stayed on the bottom a little bit too long, but that's all right. I'll just cut that off. So as you can see, it's beginning to form a syrup down in the bottom, and that's what you want. Now I'm going to have to watch these very, very carefully. I'm going to turn them down to 3, but I'm going to have to watch them. Make sure that that doesn't get, that caramel doesn't burn, because it will. With that honey, and if you don't watch them, it will burn. And so it's a very close call, so you have to watch it. Now, I'm fixing to show you, this is a peppered chef. I love it, love it. I was out at my grandson's in Boston at Kerr's house, and he had one of these, and it's wonderful. This is broccoli. I've already washed my broccoli. So I'm going to I'm going to measure it for y'all. I think I put like 1/4 cup of water. That's 1/4 cup in the steamer, because you don't need much water at all. And I'm going to put salt and pepper. And then I'm going to put the lid on it. You can get these. I think this is a 1 quart. You can get 1 quart, 2 quart, 3 quart. I never had used Pampered Chef that much, but you better believe I've ordered this one. I ordered a friend at church one, and I've ordered several in my family one, and they really like it too. So you put it in your microwave. Now, this little jewel right here. As you can see, it has magnets on it. I'm watching my potatoes too, making sure. Okay, it has little magnets on it, and I always had problems. What am I going to do with my lid, my cover for my microwave? Am I going to leave it on the counter? What am I going to do with it? So when I was out at Kerr's, he had one of these too. I love it. I'm not going to have to use it today, but it just sticks to the top of your microwave, and you never wonder where you're going to put your cover anymore. So I'm going to do this broccoli on 3 minutes, and we're going to see how if it takes any longer. Usually I do my broccoli, but I don't usually do quite this much. I do it 2 minutes, and my cauliflower I do 3 minutes, but I may have to do it a little bit longer today because I've got more broccoli in there. And honey, I think these are just about ready. You can come look and see.
Oh,
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh.
Look at that.
that's good.
See that syrup down in there? Man. And you don't want to cook it all out. You want to leave some of that syrup. So, and they're tender, but they're not cooked all to pieces. I don't call these candied yams. I just call them honey sweet potatoes, because they don't have any brown sugar. They don't have white sugar. All they have is a little honey and butter. And so we love them like this. They're delicious. And so that's just the way I cook them. Now I do candied potatoes. I do sweet potato souffle. I do all kinds. But for just me and Roy, usually this is a quick, easy. That took what, 15 minutes. It's very quick and easy, and so it's easy for me to fix and have a quick lunch. So I'm going to check my pork chops. I've still got 3 minutes. 3 minutes on it, but I'm going to take. Ooh, like to burn my hand. I'm gonna check the temperature on them and see what they are. They look done. The bacon, see how the bacon has dried? It's not brown, but it's dried out. It's done. So I'm gonna check the temperature. That's 165 degrees. This is a thick one. I'm gonna check it. It's 162 degrees. This one is 165 degrees. So I'm gonna put these back in the oven because, so if I want them up to 100, they're gonna be up to 165 when I get through. And I've decided that's where I wanna eat my pork. I've always cooked to that. It's not dry, it's plenty moist. So honey, I'm going right over here and I'm gonna get this. Now, what we're going to do is something we absolutely love. This is my pineapple pepper jelly that I'm homemade from our cayenne peppers in the garden. So I just take and I'll show you sometime on another video how I make this. We love it. So you just spread this on. Spread it on your pork chops. And I'm going to finish doing this and I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay. I'm going to finish this up. And I've got some apricot jelly here that I put on it sometimes too, but today I'm just going to do the pineapple pepper pineapple jelly. What do I call it? Pineapple pepper jelly, that's what it is. Now I'm telling you, this is some good stuff. I could eat this with a spoon. But, so you just put it on it like this. And I'm going to put it back in the oven for like 2 minutes and let this pepper jelly kind of just glaze these pork chops. Okay, now I'm going to slide it back in the oven for like, and if you can see all that juice in there from the bacon, and I didn't want my pork chops sitting in there. So I'm going to put it on 2 minutes. And then my potatoes are ready. Let me check my broccoli and see how it's, oh my. Oh honey, let me get a spoon right here. Okay, can you see that? After 3 minutes in this steamer.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. I mean perfect. So I'm going to pour this in here. And as you can see, there's juice, see, left in there. So I'm going to put that. Now, I'm going to put my cauliflower in there. I'm going to salt it just a little bit. Everything's kind of coming off at one time here. And I'm going to cook this for 3 minutes. And you make sure you got your little lid. Okay. Make sure it's on there good. You put it in, and I'm going to cook this for 3 minutes. And after that gets done, I'm going to take, I shredded some cheddar cheese and some pepper jack cheese. And I'm going to, when I put my cauliflower in here, I'm going to sprinkle this over my broccoli and cauliflower, and I'm going to slide it in the microwave for like a minute, just until that cheese melts, and then we're going to be ready to eat with pork chops, glazed pineapple pepper jelly, glazed pork chops, broccoli and cauliflower with cheese, and sweet potatoes, honey sweet potatoes.
And your panko pork chops.
And my panko pork chops, yeah. So this was, all right. My timer just went off. I'm going to turn my oven off. Okay, it's time to take our broccoli and cauliflower out. I put cheese over it and melted it. Oh, wow. Doesn't that look good? Now, this is pepper jack cheese and cheddar cheese. So, and I only put it back in there for a minute just to melt our cheeses. So, I'm fixing to fix Roy a plate here.
Oh, the proof is in the plate.
So,
and I'm the proofer.
That's right. He is always my proofer. So that's
Wow.
his pork chop.
Oh.
That's our honey sweet potatoes. And
Cantaloupes and
we're gonna put this broccoli and cheese right here. Wow, that was so good. And okay, I'll just use this fork right here.
cantaloupes out of the garden.
He loves cantaloupe. We eat cantaloupe with our breakfast. We eat it with our lunch. We eat it for snacks. We just love cantaloupe. So
Oh my.
that's his lunch right there.
Okay.
So I'm fixing to take the camera and I'm gonna let him taste, and we're gonna see
Okay.
how he likes it.
Oh.
So, honey,
Well, if it looks as good as I think, is it going to, as it's going to taste?
I want your honest opinion now. Like he could give me anything else.
Okay.
He knows what to say.
Let's just get some bacon and pepper jelly and pork chop here for a second.
Pepper jelly makes it, doesn't it?
Woo.
It's good with the apricot jelly, but man, that pepper jelly.
And this is cayenne pepper, but it's not really hot.
I make all kinds of pepper jelly. I make it with strawberry. I make it with pineapple. Is my absolute favorite though.
And those sweet potatoes just mess it up totally. I'm telling you.
And they're plenty sweet, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when you get used to not eating a lot of sugar, and you put, just a little bit of honey over something, it really enhances it. Really, really good.
If you don't have one of those steamers, and you can cook something quickly to go with a piece of meat in that steamer and be eaten.
They're not very expensive either from Pampered Chef. I think you can get the 1 quart, 2 quart, and 3 quart for like
They are so
$45, and I think that 1 quart's like $13, but it is well worth it. But let me also tell you, you can.
You just keep going, honey. I'm taking care of it.
You can steam these in just a regular bowl in the microwave, and it works well that way too. I just really love my steamer. So I see Roy's gonna continue to eat. So I better hang up now and fix my plate. So if not, he's gonna have it all eaten. So I love y'all.
Tell them to like it.
I love y'all. Please like this video, share, follow, and if you see it on YouTube, please subscribe, and I love your comments. Please, please leave me your comments. So I love y'all, and God bless.
I'd give you a double thumbs up if I could.